Hello and welcome to Hearthstone Top 5. My name is Benjamin Hero and today we're going to be discussing the top 5 most unfair nerfed cards in the history of Hearthstone. Today we're also going to celebrate the death, or should I say mourn, the death of Flurry, and we're going to explore the other 4 cards that received some really unfair nerfs. Alright then, boys and girls, let's get started. At number 5, we have Hunter's Mark. The Hunter spell that got a 1 mana increase that went from 0 mana to 1 mana. Blizzard made the change during the whole big standard introduction and they wanted to reduce the over-reliance of basic and old cards. So they looked at Hunter cards and said, Hunter's Mark? Time to adjust it. The reason was, they said it was a bit too efficient at 0 mana. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, the Hunter as a whole was never actually a top class since the Hunter Taker decks. So by Blizzard nerfing Hunter's Mark, they essentially just made sure that Hunter will never again be any top tier or dominant deck. And this is why Hunter's Mark is definitely one of the most unfairly nerfed cards. At number 4, we have our good friend Flurry. They went from a 2 mana card to a 3 mana card, and now it's essentially the worst 3 mana 3/2 weapon in the game. It went from the best to the worst. Before Flurry got the big, let's say, nerf, it was the best weapon, and it was always compared to those other usual 2/3 weapons such as Power Maze, King's Defender, the Blade from the Paladin, and the Eagle Horn Bow. And they had to give those text cards a bit something special, like with Shadow Blade. I mean, otherwise it would just be a worse Flurry. But now all these cards are better than the Flurry. And will Flurry still see play? Who knows? Is it an unfair nerf? People are, let's just say, pretty salty and sad about it. And it spawned some other interesting memes due to the supposed death of Flurry. It's still an alright weapon, but it's no longer insane. And Blizzard said they nerfed the card because it was too common, too used, and too played in too many decks, and it was just way too powerful. They're not wrong. It is a bloody powerful card. But let's be honest, we all miss the good old 2 mana Warax, and that's why it's at number 4. My number 3, we have Call of the Wild Man. It moved from an 8 mana card to a 9 mana card, and Blizzard said the reason why they nerfed the card was because it was a bit too powerful for the 8 mana spot and it was overperforming, and they hoped at 9 mana it will do justice. As it turned out, the nerf actually really made Hunter just a worse deck. Before Hunter was actually competitive during the Whispers of the Old Gods metagame when they had the 8 mana Core of the Wild, because you can play Core of the Wild, hero power, and get in that 7 juicy burst damage. Now, or you can just get into 5 damage from our good old friend Huffer. Hunters were actually never quite recovered from the Whispers of the Old Gods meta, and the class as a whole just kept on declining, and it just kept on getting worse and worse and worse. So in hindsight, that nerf actually made Hunter weaker and less competitive. If Blizzard's aim was to completely make the Hunter class non-competitive, then the nerf worked out quite fine. But this was by far one of the most unjust nerfs. Even though players might cry saying how powerful the card is, Hunter as a whole needs some good cards in order for it to even be slightly competitive. And this is why Call of the Wild is at number 3. At number 2, we have Blade Flurry. And if you're an old school player, you know the phrase by now. Is this what Blade Flurry died for? Originally, it was just 2 mana and the damage will also hit the enemy hero. Now it just hits the minions and they double the cost. Blizzard said they wanted to open the design space for rogue weapons. So us players have been patiently waiting. Okay, soon Blizzard will release some cards to show us why Blade Flurry had to be nerfed. And we've got such amazing cards like Envenom Weapon and Leeching Poison. As you can tell, I'm being sarcastic. In essence, we still haven't gotten our powerful Rogue card to justify why Blade Flurry essentially got deleted from the game. And the nerf was so heavy that players could not believe it. That their favorite card, a whole archetype from Tinker Sharpshot O, is essentially now destroyed. Could there have been better balance changes, better card changes? In hindsight, yes. Perhaps make it 5 mana and keep the old effects. But at the moment, Blade Flurry is definitely one of the biggest unfairly nerfed cards in Hearthstone. So you have to take something really big or perhaps gigantic to take the top spot. At number 1, we have Molten Giant, and the nerf it received was a 5 mana increase from 20 to 25, and this meant that you had to be at 5 life instead of 10 life in order to play the Molten Giant for free. And the difference between 5 and 10 is huge. This effectively completely eradicated the card from Hearthstone. I bet you forgot that this is actually a basic card that you can play in your decks right now. You forgot, didn't you? You forgot. I forgot as well. I thought it was somehow rotated out. But yes, Molten Giant is still in the game. Blizzard themselves have said if Molten Giant wasn't a basic card, and it wasn't in the base set of the game, it probably would have survived its 20 mana cost. But because the card was forever going to be in the game, they said it's time for the nerf bat, and smack! Let's give it an extra 5 mana. And players, let me just say, vocal is not enough to justify the outcry, the anger, and the anguish the players had over the nerf. Personally, I didn't play Warlock at the time, so I was like, cool. But players were really saddened about the fact that Molten Giant got the nerf. I'm talking about the nerf. I do have fun with these videos. The fact that the Molten Giants got the nerf gun and the nerf stick and the nerf bat all at the same time. And there's by far no card in Hearthstone that is anywhere near to the level of unjustified nerfs because of Molten Giant. Blizzard just wanted to keep the metagame fresh and didn't want to see Molten Giants in every single handlock deck. And they have rightfully succeeded, but it doesn't mean that the players don't stop crying. Thank you for watching to the end. Again, if you like the video, please think about subscribing. It will do a whole bunch to the video. I mean, literally, please subscribe. I know I sound like I'm begging. I am begging. And also be sure to watch all the other videos as well. And I'm thinking of just top 5 videos. I really like my top 5 videos, and there's just an affinity I have to just do top 5 videos. That means less of the more creative and wacky stuff and just top 5 day after day. Again, give me opinions and please keep watching more videos. Stay awesome and adios.